Hi, Crypto Gems. I just wanted to give you a shout out and give you some updates as to how everything went at the Capitol yesterday. I'm on my lunch hour now here in Hawaii, which I think is probably sometime between 11:30ish to 12 o'clock my time, with your time being Eastern Standard. In a normal day, this might be a good time for us to communicate. Here's one thing that I want to say before I get into what happened yesterday, which was awesome, by the way. I've been searching for and thinking about what my niche might be in being a YouTuber, because I never really thought that YouTubing was something that that I would want to get involved in. But this whole regulatory issue that we're all facing, it's something that I'm pretty good at because of what I do for a living as a compliance officer. So my thought is that if you can share with people from your channel the things that I'm doing, especially with the women in crypto, that I think would be awesome. Okay, I think that we should do interviews, like I told you before. We'll work out how that works technically. But if you're on board, I think that's great. I have not yet been viewed by Crypto Mom, and I'm just like chomping at the bit for her to see what I sent to her. I'm not sure if there's another way that might be better to reach out, because she's doing awesome and she just doesn't seem to have a family, and the family we have with Oracle and you and Alcoins and all us little YouTubers that are on board and loyal, we need to support people like that don't have a home. So anyhow, if you can give some sort of shout out to everybody about my channel and what I'm trying to share, that might help with things such as the Coinbase issue right now with credit cards, people not being able to purchase that way, okay? Coinbase was where a lot of us started. I use a different platform and I don't use credit cards anymore. I think I used it my very first time for some mining things. But the information from a regulatory standpoint and things that are going on, I think is valuable information that I can share with people. So if you can help out in that area to point people my direction that way, that would be great. I'm not looking to be a big YouTuber, but I do want to, in some sort of way, contribute to everything that we're all trying to do. Right now, Crypto Moms is like thinking, because she's been so burned, I don't blame her, that all lending platforms are scams. And I'm not convinced of that yet. We know that there are a lot of scams and that there are people out there that are bad actors. And that is why the regulatory scene, aside from, the tax issue and governments just wanting to have their thumb in every pie that somebody has, there are some real legitimate concerns about people getting scammed. Let me get on to now what happened yesterday, okay? So, once I got to the Capitol after the last video I sent, I went to one of the representatives' offices and they printed for me the status of the particular bill that I had gone to support. That bill was meant to establish within my state a quote-unquote working group. And I think I mentioned this in another video. It was a working group for other islands and other people to figure out what we want to do with this technology for our state. Once I got there, though, found out, did a search, and there was 4 other bills, but they were on the Senate side, not the House side. They were on the Senate side, and what they were dealing with was the issue of us not having any defined, nothing being defined from a virtual currency, digital asset sort of perspective. And so these new bills are going to solve the problem that I mentioned yesterday that made Coinbase and Circle Financial leave this state. There's exemptions now for people such as us that are either experimenting with ICOs. Now, they don't mention ICOs in particular, but they talk about people that are experimenting with their own funds, doing things on their own, and under certain dollar values, being exempt from any type of virtual currency business license, okay? So if any of you are familiar with, in case there's other people that watch this later, because right now I'm speaking to Gems, but this goes for anybody. Everybody knows or should know that the state of New York made a really big licensing push, I think last year. I could be wrong. I think it was last year or the very end of the year prior to that, but I think it was last year. BitLicense is what they called it. And they drove tons of businesses out of the state. Okay, the regulation was just insane. Anyways, there was 4 other bills. One bill I found out was taking testimony today, which is yesterday, of course. I didn't find out about it in time, but I did submit testimony last night online in support of it because it will solve the problem that we have here. Coinbase supports it. It was in the paperwork that Coinbase supported it, so I automatically support it. I read it last night. It's like 80 pages or 100 pages, something like that, so it's pretty intense, much to the chagrin of my husband. Anyways, I just want to share with people the regulatory processes, and of course, they are different for every state. And Coin Center, like I mentioned in a previous video, is a lobbying group that is trying to promote responsible legislation for what we're doing, and not just this blanket of, oh, you can't do that, it's banned, we don't want you here type of stuff. We know we had the big SEC meeting just the other day, which was wonderful, and most Bitcoiners were very happy with how that came down. And one of the things I listened to last night, because I listened to the podcast, Bitcoin Podcast Network. Check it out. It's awesome. There's lots of great information in there. One of the things that I heard was regulation that comes is going to be a while. And the reason for that is that the agencies that have jurisdiction over, say, the futures market, options trading, things like that. And you know, if Oracle ever sees this, maybe he can chime in and correct me if I'm wrong. But at this particular meeting, they got asked a question as to whether or not they thought, do you, as individual agencies, believe that you have jurisdiction over this arena or space, or do you believe that combined, both agencies have jurisdiction if you combine it? And if you don't, what as legislators can we do to help you? So there was a lot of really good questions that got asked, and the answer that was given was they didn't believe that they had jurisdiction individually. They thought that they might have jurisdiction combined, and that yes, they wanted help from legislators in a combined effort to craft things in a good way. They didn't want to stifle technology and the space, which is great, okay? But here's the reality. To get all of these people together to agree on how they should go is a logistical nightmare. Take it from me as a compliance officer. It's hard enough to get 5 people in a room to agree upon something. Now you're talking about SEC and the options people and all these other agencies. Good luck with that, okay? So the bottom line was it isn't coming anytime soon. So, like Oracle said, regulation is coming. We need to get while the getting's good, so to speak. And that's how that went. I'm still working closely with the regulators on anything that might need to happen to adjust things to make it so that normal, regular people can get onto this working group that's here in my state. But I would encourage anybody else in any other states that's listening to this that has any sort of background or knowledge in regulatory issues to get involved, because that's the only way that we're going to preserve this space for the little guy, right? For the little guy. I've looked into trying to become an accredited investor so that when regulation does come, I'm not completely shut out. And I have some ideas and some concepts that I will share with people when they become when it becomes better and more concise. I'm going to stop here because I'm getting up on 9 minutes in this video, and I don't want these videos to become so long that people don't watch them all the way through. Anyways, Gems, if you can encourage crypto women and anybody else, but the women in crypto to come and see my page, I want to encourage them, of course, and answer their questions for newbies or whatever. That would be awesome. And for anybody else that has regulatory questions, please send them my way, okay? This is my niche. This is how I feel I can contribute to this space, because I'm not looking for referral money. I'm not looking to earn money from YouTube. And us tubers, hey, that's a good one, us tubers, need to stick together. So anyways, I'm going to shut this off now because I'm coming up on 10 minutes now. Thank you for everything, and keep on doing what you're doing, and I look forward to any messages in the future. Bye.